On the table before me, we have some of the most important new watches to the entry-level side of Seiko's offering. This is the brand new SRPD Seiko 5 lineup. These are crucial entry-level sport watches, and I'm excited to dig in. So a new Seiko 5 is actually a pretty big deal. It's not something that the brand has done in recent times, and the line itself actually stretches back to 1963. And for many of you watching, this may have been your entry point to mechanical watches. Not many people know that the 5 actually stands for something, and that's water resistance, an automatic movement, day and date display, a recessed crown at 4 o'clock on the case, and a durable case and bracelet. Here we see a dive watch design that is actually very specific, and to fully understand it, we need to address the true diver in the room. And that would be the much loved enthusiast icon, the SKX. This is a watch that every dive forum, every friend who's into watches, everybody who knows what they're talking about, when addressed by someone who's just kind of getting their way into it, they're told to buy one of these, and for good reason. This is mine. It's the better part of 10 years old. I've modded it with another bezel. It's a true dive watch, screw down crown, 200 meters water resistance. It's 41 millimeters. It's very wearable. It comes on a bracelet or a rubber strap. In this case, I've got mine on a NATO. The thing to remember with the SKX is that it wasn't strictly a US or North American model. Something like an SKX 007 like mine was bought gray market from Japan and brought in, so you didn't really deal with a warranty. What's important to note is Seiko no longer produces the SKX, but they now make the Seiko 5. With that, I think we're seeing something of a sort of passive acknowledgement of the Seiko modding community. This is a huge part of loving these sub $500 dive watches, is the lengths at which people will go to make these Seikos their Seikos. Before we start digging into these specific varieties that we have on the desk here, it's worth mentioning that the specs between the SKX series and the new Seiko 5s are actually really close. 42.5 millimeter wide steel case, 13.4 millimeters thick, 46 millimeters lug to lug means it's going to be really wearable on a wide variety of wrists. And then you have drilled 22 millimeter lugs, which I think is a really great update. So everything on the table here actually sits at a price point like a MSRP of about $300 to $350, with bracelet models pushing more into the $350 and the more interesting dial variations in the middle range, and then the more simple examples on a NATO sitting just under 300 bucks. As a new product offering that could bring in brand new people into the fascination of mechanical watches, I love that they made this many, and certainly this is only 10 of the 27. But as specificity is the soul of narrative, we should probably pick one, and for that, let's take a look at this, which is the sort of all black with white lume. It's the SRPD 65. It's a range topping option at about 350 bucks. And yeah, let's try it on. Aside from the fact that the bracelet feels a little bit more sturdy than what I'm used to from the SKX stuff, it really just wears like an SKX. You get a slightly different dial design. The new Seiko 5 logo is there, and you have automatic script, of course, instead of the Divers 200. But it is important to keep in mind that these aren't really dive watches. You shouldn't be using them as a backup for your dive computer. It's 100 meters water resistance, the crown doesn't screw down, and you don't get a pip for the lume on the bezel. What you do get in trade is a really nicely priced, really well-made watch with a ton of different options, and the whole line maintains Seiko's inroad to mechanical watch enthusiasm.